Hi there. Our meditation for this is going to be very simple. To take some slow, steady breaths in and out, releasing stress as we exhale. Now we're going to regulate our breathing by counting to 4 on the in-breath, pausing for 4 before we exhale, counting to 4 as we exhale, pausing for 4 before we inhale. This is called squared breathing. I'm going to do it with you. Inhale for 4. Okay. After doing a few rounds, return to breathing normally. The next thing we want to do, take our left hand and move it over to our right knee and then return it. Take our right hand, move it over to the left knee and return it. And now we're going to count to 20 as we do this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale completely. And resume normal breathing. We have now synced both sides of our body, both hemispheres of our brain. And as we go into the reading, we set the intention for this or something better, meaning we will not be limited by what we encounter in the reading, that we will only use it for our highest good and the highest good of all. And if there is something better, we wish to line up with that. Okay? And let us begin. So you chose reflection number 1. And I've got your cards pre-dealt. Worry is a wasted emotion. Stay open-minded. Carelessness. Nature. Future. I feel a sneeze coming. Show the world the real you. Show the world the real you. I'm just gonna get some extra light going here. Prosperity lies ahead. Empathy. V. Flower power. I mean, this is so far all over the place, so I'm just gonna keep looking at the cards to see what the message is. Business venture. It seems like a whole life upgrade so far. Agreements, integrity, love, trust, matriarch, Capricorn, established, home. These are just from my essence deck, so when I say these words, these are the words on the card. I'm going to kind of get the essence of the energy that we're talking about, and it might not include every word on this card, you know. 3 people, pets, spring, children, play, siblings. Burdens carried silently. Time to move. Communicate openly. I wear a mask. Sacrifice and freeze. Okay. Are you trying to be all things to all people? And while not moving forward in some aspect of your life, you may be stuck in the freeze response. Show the world the real you. And we got I wear a mask. So there's something here that you're doing, has to do with communication. The way you're doing it is protecting you in some way. I think the burden of this is carried so silently that you might not be aware of it either. That you're carrying this with you. Empathy and envy. Something about avoiding other people's envy and therefore not allowing yourself to fully shine. All right, so I have 3 cards here from the Greek mythology deck. And I rather like this deck lately. I'm going to see what the little blurb on the book says is the message. I won't read the whole thing, just like the message part. Total belief in a positive future will bring contentment towards you. Value each moment and get the best you can out of it. Your confidence and your fortune will then grow accordingly. Total belief. Total belief. So it's a belief here. There's something about a belief. Let's see what the other cards say. Pegasus, nature. Card reminds you of the beauty and power of nature and the creatures of the earth, both magical and real. Perhaps you could take time out to appreciate wild or domestic animals and thank Mother Nature for her beauties. Or you may seek assistance and support from the magical Pegasus as the Greeks did. The superheroes of ancient Greece sometimes used Pegasus to defeat dangerous beasts, reminding us that Mother Nature has two sides to her. One can be dark, untamed, and frightening, whilst the other blesses us with beautiful animals that can assist us. Okay. Epimetheus. 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 And it says carelessness. Epimetheus became associated with imprudence and afterthought, or someone who acts first then thinks later. If this card represents your future, do try and think before you act now. This card describes a situation in which someone may have acted foolishly or without thinking. Perhaps you or another person are reflecting after a regrettable event, a case of act in haste, repent at leisure. After the creation of the world, Epimetheus was supposed to give a positive characteristic to each of the newly created animals. However, he didn't plan or think ahead, so he had run out of beneficial traits by the time it came to giving something positive to the human race. Had he thought about it, he might have distributed the talents more evenly. He also ignored warnings about Pandora and accepted a gift from her which released a terrible affliction to humankind. He was confounded by her beauty and lost the ability to be cautious. Just feeling into this to see where is this message going. This is a difficult one because it's not. Prosperity lies ahead. It's just so vast, right? It's like, okay, so prosperity lies ahead. We can put that with the business venture. And the empathy we can put with carelessness, right? Because if you use a little empathy, you can think about things and how you affect other people, and we've got envy, which is that darker side, right? But nature, openly. We did have pets here, so pets could be an important comfort to you at this time. Just kind of sorting them to see what do I want to ask more about. It's like, it's like, you know, we we're not trying to rewrite your whole life. Just some aspect of it that we wanted to look at. I'm such at a loss. This has never happened to me. I mean, easy for me to say, right? Because I can just shut this off and start recording again. But I'm not going to. I'm going to say this is part of it. It's like being at a loss. Like, that's what when I said burdens carried silently, it's like so silently that I don't think you even know about this. So I'm going to pause and pull some more cards. So far, I've pulled from my oracle, and I got that there's this sacrifice. I looked into that. Well, I actually started looking into the burdens, and it brought me around to the sacrifice because it said, first of all, it said nutrition. And I'm like, another aspect is being brought in. But eager, active, filtered view, energy, vampire, partnership, false, appreciated. So in some partnership, there is too much sacrifice, and you might recognize it by looking at a place where you're not appreciated. And it's like this relationship is a close relationship of yours, right? It could be a family relationship, right? It could just be a relationship you're in where it could be a sibling, but it also could be that there's three people involved, like someone who's not committing to you or whatever. This has been going on for a while. And I think it's taking away from your ability to build your prosperity and show who you really are, because you're too busy like filling this other role. And this other role just requires too much sacrifice. Perhaps it's your empathy that has you in that role to the degree that you're in it, right? Maybe you would worry if you weren't fulfilling that role, who would fulfill it? How is it going to get done? Who's going to take care of that person? Who's going to do whatever it is that you've been doing? Maybe you feel like you've been doing it from your already filled up cup and you haven't really noticed the burden that it is putting on you, right? Like, you don't know that the reason why you started to get a pain in your knee was because you've been busy putting all this effort into something that, isn't serving you. Like, it's like, that's just an example, but like, it's like, yes, it's affecting you and you probably know that, but maybe you don't know that that's what's affecting you. You might just be attributing it to something else. It's definitely tied into not being able to move forward on something else. So I feel like if you were moving forward on something else, maybe you wouldn't be sacrificing so much. But the sacrifice feels like a place that you can fill up the space that would be empty if you weren't doing the sacrificial thing. It's like, okay, so say you were doing in the partnership, in the relationship where you're sacrificing now. Say you weren't doing that, right? Then you'd have some empty space where you would notice that you're actually not moving forward on something that you know is meant for you. You're not shining your light fully. You're not kind of stepping into the wholeness and fullness of who you are. So in actuality, the sacrificial role that you've been in has been a hidden way that you filled that space so that you wouldn't have to go forward and face this part of you that's kind of frozen in time. And when we look at like the trauma response of fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, it's referencing the freeze response. So you're susceptible to the freeze response, which doesn't mean that you don't move forward at all, but we did get time to move here. It just means that it could be very slow, it could be intermittent, Could be one step forward, two steps back. It could be moving forward in a direction that isn't actually the direction you know is meant for you. You know, it's like that. So you may have to renegotiate some sort of agreements with the people in your life where you're sacrificing too much to start making that room to empty up that space again so that you get in touch with that part of you that's frozen. You get in touch with the part of you that is a bit held back and find that eager part of you that's been filling that space with the sacrificing. Use that eagerness for your business venture. Use that eagerness for your self-expression, for, you know, taking that mask off, showing the world the real you. Stay open-minded. Like, don't fill up all the space that you have in your mind, you know? Keep some emptiness, some silence, some meditation. Can you please tell me more about the freeze response? Please tell me more about the freeze response. Stay home. So you may have been in hermit mode for a long time. This may have caused you to kind of withdraw and isolate. Precipice. You are on the precipice of stepping out of this. And what will bring you out of it is a new creation. A new creation. So the space that you leave for yourself is where your new creation will be born. So stop filling up that space. It's interfering with you. And it's also making you feel inferior because it means you're surrounding yourself with people who don't appreciate you, and therefore they're in an energy that is much lower than you are in, that's, you know, generally. And it's difficult to be around that, and it steals all the inspiration in the room because it's like you're too busy having compassion for people who are not able to find their way out of a difficult situation or are in suffering or not able to pick up the slack for themselves. But you are meant for much more. You are meant for greater things than to be this caretaker. There are people who are meant to be caretakers. There are. They love doing it. They're fueled by doing it. They feel energized by doing it. They're not drained by doing it. Okay? You may be dealing with people who are dishonest. It's delaying your future, and it's time to say goodbye. So, where you are in an unequal partnership where you're not being appreciated, where, you know, maybe there's other people that are avoiding what they need to do for themselves. They are an exact mirror to you right now because you're also avoiding what you need to do for yourself. And what you need to do for yourself is likely to say goodbye, to remove yourself from that situation, and put yourself in a space of emptiness, of open-mindedness, and give up the worry, right? You're no longer worrying, you're giving that to God. You're speaking up for yourself about what needs to happen. Okay, I need to create space in my life here. I'm not going to be able to step in and do this for you anymore. You know, is there something I can do to help you set something else up, or do you got that? You know, here's the thing. I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. I know I've been doing it. It's not happening anymore, and I'm letting you know now. I don't agree to doing that for you anymore. And that space that you create for yourself is where the inspired action, the curiosity, and the new creation comes from. And that's simply what this reading is about, is literally opening your mind to this next step on your timeline, which is where you create the space for yourself to literally shine and be who you are, which will come from that space, which you have been filling up with other things, okay? That's all I can say. It's like repeating. So that's what the message is. And yeah, it took me a minute to get there, but it does really seem like it is a whole life upgrade, because a lot of things will change as a result of this, of just you creating the space for your true, authentic self to be on display, I heard. Okay. That completes your reading. Hello. You chose reflection number 2. Cards right here. Let's see what we got. Practice moderation. Give without expectations. Meditate and contemplate. Work through your fears. Happiness. Humor. Pregnancy. You know, you don't have to take all these cards literally, because, you know, sometimes they're meant in an abstract way. Walk away. Weaving a love story, a family, an unfolding, a wedding, an agreement, a meeting of the hearts. This is from my essence deck, so all those words are on the card, and I just kind of take what the essence is. So all those words might not apply. Legacy, creation, dreams, perseverance. Pleasant surprise, wowed, yay, you, woohoo, and celebrate. Affected health. Be creative. Well, this is all over the place too. Group date. Dad-like. Stubborn. Sorry. I just thought it was funny that it said dad-like and then longing and stubborn came out. Cognitive dissonance. And an ending. Okay. So we got an ending and we got walk away. So if it's difficult for you to walk away from something, it may be tied to a previous experience of walking away. Like maybe you walked away from something and then you had regrets, and now that's causing you to sort of not trust your decision. But there is something here to walk away from, and maybe you know what that is right when I say it. Assess the unhealthy situation and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. It says, it doesn't say assess, it says leave the unhealthy situation. Okay. New doors, and then we got pregnancy. So that means like there's something new ready to be birthed when you create the space. Okay? So be creative is going over here with pregnancy, because, you know, it might be literally a pregnancy, but it could just be birthing something new, a new creation. And whether you're male or female, this happens through the feminine energy. The feminine energy births something new into the world. And you are on the precipice of doing so. Give without expectations. That means not even expecting a thank you. Giving without tying yourself up into what it means about you, what it means about them. You're not being the savior. You're not doing it so that you're recognized. You only give from your overflow, and you have no control over what they do with what you've given. So you only give what you're prepared to give, with no strings attached. There is a fear here. The affected health, I think, is going to tie to that ending. You've been holding on to it too long, and it is affecting your health now. It is inviting you to stay light about this and use your humor and stay happy. Like, even though these are difficult times, like, you don't have to leave your humor behind. You don't have to be unhappy about this, because there are good things coming here. It's like, maybe they're already even here. There are opportunities for you. And it's like, once you slow your mind down, once you make that room, you're going to see what these opportunities are. And there might be fear in the way of taking up some of these opportunities. Practice moderation. So do one step at a time. And also, no overindulging. Looks like something really important about your life and is what you're going to be stepping into and creating. I feel like you might think that you can create that and have that part of your life with what you're not walking away from. But this is kind of saying, nope, you're being very stubborn. You're longing for something and we can't bring it in because you're being stubborn and you're not understanding that you've put something in the equation that doesn't belong in that picture, that can't be a part of that picture. There's something you need to walk away from. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a situation, maybe it's an overindulgence. Gosh, imagine that. You're building your legacy and you just can't take that overindulgence with you. Overindulgence in gambling, alcohol, something else, shopping. Men. We got music and we got God of Light. Okay. Orpheus, music. Let's read that from the book. I just had that book. Just had the book. And now I don't have the book. Okay, I found the book. Oh, Dad like fell. Dad like fell. Dad like fell. Is that the only card like that? Oh no. Group date. We haven't really discussed group date or dad like. We'll get to those. We're going to look at Orpheus first. Music has a very special place in this world. Like sunshine, it lifts and soothes the soul. Perhaps it's time for you to be inspired by a beautiful voice or melody. This may be what your date is going to be. Maybe you do need to go out with some people and have some fun. Listen to some music, go to a festival, a concert, something. God of Light, Apollo. Or is that the thing you're leaving behind? If you've been doing a lot of that and it's been detracting from your life and not allowing you to focus on building something here in a relationship realm, a love story realm, a meeting of the hearts realm, then that's the thing you got to walk away from for now. And maybe that's the thing that's affecting your heart if you are going out a lot. Okay? So just take that as it resonates. It could definitely be the opposite of go indulge in that. It could be you've been overindulging in that. Okay? You'll know if that's true for you. If dark has descended and you are battling a serpent right now, you can be assured that Apollo is on his way. Everything about the sun's energy is considered positive and rejuvenating. So hope will be restored, and you should enjoy affirmation and confidence in all you do. Now, we got pregnancy and we got dad-like too. Like, is there a pregnancy here? And do you have to cut out some things because of it in order to be dad-like? Work through your fears. What are your fears around this? What are your fears about starting a family, settling down, moving forward, being happily ever after? Just going to double check. What should be walked away from? I'm going to just reach into my oracle here. What are we being asked to walk away from? It might be different for different people, but let's see. Clarity, gluttony, the overindulgence in 1 week. What are we being asked to walk away from? Yes, the overindulgence, the gluttony is affecting your health. Decide and trust yourself. You know what it is it's saying. You have clarity on this already. You know what it is that you're being asked to walk away from and leave behind and birth something new into the world, which cannot be done without leaving this. Maybe if it's like you drink a lot, maybe dad drank a lot too. So you're actually the one who's dad-like, It's like this pattern is passed down from that. And you haven't put it together for yourself. You've been living with some sort of cognitive dissonance, and you've been very stubborn. Meanwhile, longing for the thing you want to achieve, longing for the love story, longing for some sort of dream to come true and to create this new thing. Okay, so it's saying it's time to just eliminate the part of the equation that isn't going to work for the equation. You've got this. It's just like, if it's an addiction, usually it's a lack of connection that leads to addiction. So since you're longing for the connection and you can't move towards it with the addiction, it's like taking a leap of faith. Like, okay, I'm going to be uncomfortable for a minute, but I can find my way into connection, which is the root cause of my addiction anyway. So when I look at and put my efforts into building connection, then at least I will be creating something that's worthwhile, that sustains me and doesn't actually just destroy my health. And I feel like it's like, if you have to like stop going to festivals and music, concerts for now, then it's like, it's not like a forever thing, right? It's like, maybe you just play some background music for now, while you get this under control. Maybe you figure out another way to do it, like a sober bar, or, just other ways to have that music still be a part of your life and have the celebration still be a part of your life. It's like, create the circumstance and the atmosphere and the environment that works for you. Okay. That is going to complete your reading. Oh, you chose reflection number 3. Here's your reading. Live your bliss. I've got a bunch of cards here. I'm just going to lay them out and then get the message. Some of them are my essence cards. When I say these words, you don't have to take them literally because I'm going to get the reading out of the sort of essence of what this energy is when we look at it all together. Don't relinquish your power. So when you look at power, what power actually is our own ability to control ourselves. Wherever we take up responsibility and become sovereign, then we are in full power. Anywhere where we're outsourcing that is us giving away our power. Power is really only for regulating ourselves and taking responsibility for ourselves. That's what power is. The willingness to do that. Power is, it's an illusion to think that you're actually powerful when you attack others or use your power to manipulate or coerce others, because that's actually showing very clearly that you have an inner weakness. Even if you have physical strength, you have an inner weakness, so you're not powerful. And that inner weakness is being used against you because you are now outsourcing all of your energy to something that does not grow you. Okay? It's time to release negativity. Nothing will come of this situation. Like if you have a power struggle, it's not going to work out. Self-esteem, forgiveness, and peace. To fight. Can't we all just get along? Get some exercise. Like maybe you have a lot of energy, and maybe if you have a lot of energy, you find yourself picking fights, being like wrestling, you know, tackling people, things like this. Like it's a toddler thing to do when you have a lot of excess energy, is to act that way, right? So just remember, give your body some other outlet for the energy that you have. We have winter. This time is significant. Brother, good friend could be significant. Social media can be significant here. Soft, gentle leader, masculine. Advisor, helper. The grass is green, go. Get it done. Oh my goodness. His attention is elsewhere. Exit the situation. It's like run while you have a chance and is not looking. Your captor. Or the person trying to, you know, fight with you. Or the person that's like in power struggles with you. It's like, oh, they're not looking, run. Cat, curious, independent. I'm just kind of being light about that. Let's see what the message is, you know, for real. Completion of a cycle. Yeah. So some way of being is ending. Repression. You've repressed some things and you've misunderstood some things. And we got power struggle. Oh my goodness. Yep. Okay. I feel like this is well, we did get masculine. So I feel like this is a masculine energy. And if you're a female, just know that we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. So your gender does not matter when I'm talking about masculine energy. But this feels like masculine energy that has that understanding of life about not showing weakness, being tough, not showing any vulnerability, trying to be like the big man on campus, big D energy, like alpha male, like, you know, just all this kind of like, to me, when men act like that, I'm not saying it's bad or wrong, okay? But to me, an energy reader, to me, it looks like a theatrical event. And I don't think it's wrong to be theatrical, right? I'm theatrical sometimes. I actually enjoy it. And I have, acquaintances that actually are like that, and I enjoy them too. So, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's fake. It is fake. It's not authentic. It's not genuine. It's not the most important thing to a human. Like, no one's actually saying, oh, I need my man to be like, hoo, 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 tough guy. Like, no one is doing that. No one. I think it's more likely that women who get with men who are like that are like, okay, I'll put up with that. I'll put up with that. Everyone knows that it's rooted in a misunderstanding and an insecurity at the base, because you're insecure only in the very hidden way because you are not allowing a part of yourself, which is a vulnerable, chaotic, feminine energy that you do have. So I feel like that's what this is. It's like, if you got all that adrenaline or masculine energy, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not adrenaline, but like that masculine, if you got all that, get some exercise, get it out another way. Because masculine energy is used for taking action, not for theatrics. Theatrics are actually very beautiful when it comes from feminine. That blunt caveman sort of theatrics, it's so obvious, and that's all it is. And it's not real, so how can you can't form a real relationship with someone who will only act that way. What comes to mind? Jersey Shore. Look, I was a fan back in the day. I watched that first season, was fascinated by it all. But like thinking back to like the energy those guys had, right? It's all about looks, it's all about kind of these shallow things and like puffing up the chest and how you look, and it's like but what's on the inside there? And we saw some of what was on the inside because of how they treated some other people sometimes. And it wasn't cute, it wasn't pretty, it was unkind. And it's like their facade is so thin and so easily penetrated. That's why they've got all this like easily triggered energy. It's like you could poke that guy by saying the right thing or the wrong thing, and they could go off on you, and they're really upset about it, and that's how you can tell it's a facade. It's not real. It's not who they really are. And I'm talking about this in this way, in a very exaggerated way. And I don't necessarily think this person, I don't think that you are necessarily like that, right? I'm just saying, like, can you recognize the masculine energy in you and how it's been working? Because you're being asked to complete that. Nothing will come of this situation. Like, it's nothing. You don't have to put on that costume. It's like, on the inside, it doesn't make you feel very good to have to be that, because it's like that's not the real you. So even if someone likes you, they don't like the real you because they don't know the real you, because you never showed them the real you. You showed them this image that you wanted to portray and how you wanted to be seen. And the second that they act like they don't see you the way your image is, you get butthurt, and you might not even be able to show it because you're not allowed to be upset. Yeah. Okay. So these are self-esteem issues, right? You want to forgive yourself and anyone else, that has held you to this, right? You really are being asked to be a good friend, be a brother. It's not about your image. It's really not. It's about who you are. Soft, gentle leader, we got, an advisor, a helper. Masculine energy is a protector and provider in some cases. It's the container energy. It's like, I got you. We're in this safe container of this. I got this. I'm physically strong, so I can make sure that you're not harmed. I have your back, so I can make sure you're not harmed. I'm a protector, right? I care about you and your feelings. I know you have them, and they're valid for you, and I'm not going to, expect you to not have them because I'm uncomfortable with my own feelings. I'm going to allow feelings because we're human beings, and human beings have feelings, and we both have masculine and feminine energy. So feelings is part of that. Feelings are based on the stories we've told. And you're being asked to free yourself and to live your bliss, live the part of your life where you don't have to hold up a facade of what masculinity looks like or is or means. It's like real masculine that doesn't have self-esteem issues is soft, is quiet, can be vulnerable, is confident, knows themselves, doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, is just is. The truth needs no defense. Isn't in power struggles. Because power struggles really are this way to show that you're weak and way to show that you're out of control and way to show that you are having an inner war. So don't give up your power to that. Your power is instead used for taking responsibility for yourself, controlling yourself, creating the space and container for yourself to express yourself authentically. That might mean looking at the people around you and making sure there are people around you that allow and respect that for you. I'm not saying that you want to surround yourself with people who expect you to cry all the time or anything, but definitely you want to be surrounded by people who allow that for you if it happens to happen. You know what I mean? And this is like an important example that you are of peace, of no longer having that war, of self-esteem, and of self-understanding. Well, let's read the book on these Greek mythology cards. We got Perseus, gifts. I mean, to be honest, I love this reading. I love this idea that there's a group of men on Earth right now that are taking our population from one way of being to another way of being that is authentic and that is powerful, that is truly divine masculine. And I mean, what an honorable position to be in, right? And how you lead the others is to just be an example of it. And especially if you've been seen that other way and now they see you change, woo, that, you know? And also, I'm not discrediting men who are more feminine or who don't, use those facades. I'm not saying that they're not masculine and they're not just as attractive. I'm not saying anything like that. All I'm saying is the more authentic you are to who you are, the more attractive you are. And that goes for anybody. This card indicates the gathering or giving of gifts, generosity, and rewards for achievement. Maybe you have a birthday due, or there is a celebration coming up, which you get a nice surprise. Or perhaps you will be able to give a present to someone yourself, for giving is just as good as receiving. Okay? You know, it's like that man who's been in this like facade, and then he softens, and then he realizes, wow, I would like to be tender. I would like to offer this woman some flowers, whereas before he might not, because people might think he's whipped, or she might get the wrong idea, and then now he could just say, I just knew you liked flowers, so I wanted to give these to you. So it's like that. It's like coming down to the place where you can actually be authentic and not worry about your image when it comes to anything at all, including gift giving or receiving. We got Gaia. Manifestation. Earthly possessions are brought into existence by thought and sheer willpower. When we are determined to reach for something and believe we can do it, we do it. By thinking about something with passion, you can now create it, just as Gaia did. Wow, I mean, that's strong, right? All right, so this shift that you're going through allows you to be in that kind of power. That's where, you're taking responsibility for yourself, yeah, and your creation. Guess what energy creates? It's the feminine energy. You need to be able to utilize the feminine energy in order to create and manifest. So that's how important it is to honor it in yourself. That's how important it is to stop overpowering it with a facade of something else. Honor both the masculine and the feminine energy within you, because it's the feminine energy that's going to lead you through curiosity and through your intuition into what your masculine energy wants to create. So your masculine energy takes the action once it's got the inspired action to take. It doesn't question the feminine energy within you, which is intuitive, which knows something that might not make logical sense. You just know it within you. That's how intuition works. You feel it, you sense it, you saw it, you know it. And maybe you do have this already, and maybe it's been something that you've repressed, and now it's been surfacing. And as it surfaces more and more, you will maybe experiment with it and start trusting it, and you will see the powerful manifestation capabilities that you have. And how you were really cut off from that, before. And how much more abundant you will be because of this shift. And how important it is that other people can see you go through this. And part of it is like, letting go of the burdens of the past, meaning like don't hold a grudge against you or anyone else. You got to release all that stuff, because that's not coming with you either. Okay? Wow, that's really cool. This reading, got me a little bit jazzed. Like I kind of feel happy for life just upon learning that this energy exists. So thank you. Thank you for being here on Earth. And that completes your reading.